Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alec Reed. This is my channel Alec Reads, and today we're reading Marriage a Heartstopper fanfiction by heartstopper_fan22 on Wattpad, and today we're reading chapter 83, Mental Pain. Oh, that was one breath. I'm so proud of myself. Are you? I'm proud of myself. You should be proud of me too. Anyway, in today's episode, there will be some mentions of mental health issues, so if that kind of thing bothers you, please click off the video now. But anyway, we are going to jump right in, but like, comment, subscribe, and leave either just a hello in the comments or whether it's recommendations. I will always reply. Anyway, let's jump right in. Chapter 83, Mental Pain. Charlie's perspective. Tao walked over to me, and I didn't care what he had to say. I wished he would just go home. My body felt like it was limp. My head was dazed, and it felt like right before you fall asleep. I had zero energy for this right now. I just wanted to be left alone by everyone and think about what happened. I needed to process it all, alone. He sat down, leaving distance between us, and said in such a cheerful tone it felt suffocating, "Hey, Charlie." I ignored him. I didn't want to talk to him, so maybe if I ignored him, he'll just give up and leave. "Charlie, come on, tell me what happened." I rolled my eyes at the fact that he thought that was going to make me talk. Why can't anybody just understand I can't express myself right now? I'm too upset. If I do, I'm going to crumble. I just need some fucking time to process this. Why didn't they understand? Tao was stubborn and wasn't going to give up that easily. Okay, fine. I'm getting the silent treatment. I see. I guess this will be a free pass for me to talk about this new movie I watched. It was spectacular. It's called My Last Summer. It's a sapphic film. Tara recommended it. So basically, he rambled on about some movie he watched, and I had no problem tuning him out. On the other hand, ignoring Nick has been extremely difficult. It's not that I want to, it's just I need time to understand everything my mom said to me in the kitchen before I talk about it with Nick, because I know the first thing he's going to ask me about is what happened in the kitchen. I'm just not ready to talk about it, but it doesn't make it easy for me when Nick is so hurt by it. Nick's perspective. Elle, I don't know what to do. Look. Just look. He won't even tell Tao to shut up. It's like he has no life left in him. What if he... I couldn't finish my sentence because I burst out crying, unable to hold it in. Elle grabbed my hand and led me to my bedroom so Charlie wouldn't hear me crying. We sat on the floor against the door because there wasn't a lock on it since me and Charlie lived alone. Elle pulled me into her arms and patted my back. What happens if what? I looked at her with glistening tears in my eyes. What happens if he's never the same? Elle pulled me back into her tight. Nick, shh. No, it's not going to happen. Charlie will be okay. He's just not okay right now, but that won't last forever. I cried harder. What happens if it does last forever? She ran her hand through my hair. Nick, I promise you, it won't last forever. Give it some time. She was right, but that thought was the only thing I could think of, and it just kept coming out of my mouth. I've never been more worried about something in my life. Charlie was scaring the shit out of me. I just sat there crying into Elle's arms. It felt good to be able to let it out. I can't rely on Charlie right now. He needs support, not me. After 15 more minutes, I stopped crying and felt better. Elle kept reassuring me that Charlie would be back to normal eventually, hopefully sooner than later, because I've never felt so distant from him in my life. It's so lonely without him. He truly is the shining light in my life. It was getting late, and I walked Tao and Elle out. Sorry, Tao said, while giving me a hug. I really tried, but he's crushed. He needs time, although he may not like his mom. all that much. He always valued her opinion, so for her to think so little of him is causing him to project his mother's opinion onto himself. Even though Tao's news wasn't good news, it still felt better understanding now what has happened. Tao was good at putting feelings and things into perspective. Don't be sorry, Tao. I'm grateful for you guys coming. Thank you so much. They waved goodbye and responded, anytime. I closed the door to our cold apartment. It wasn't physically cold. It just felt that way at the moment. The atmosphere needs a spark and love to warm it up to its prior cozy self, but I had a feeling that wasn't going to happen tonight. I had the thought of sleeping on the couch run through my head, but decided against it. He didn't push me off or ask me to go away when I pulled him in tight on the couch to cuddle, so I feel like affection is appreciated even though he's not vocalizing it. I walked over to our living room to see Charlie in the same position as he was a few hours ago, the food untouched, which made me unconsciously sigh out of disappointment and empathy towards my poor fiancé. I can't imagine what she said to him. I don't want to even think about it and act irrational. I went into the kitchen and closed the sliding door that separated our living room and kitchen. I breathed slowly, trying to calm my constant urge to smother him. I kept reminding myself to give him space, but that was the hardest thing ever for me. I never understood it before, but now I do. I hate to even address it, but it's true, I have separation anxiety. Thinking of the topic, I remembered the pills I had been given. I opened the cupboards and grabbed the pill bottle. That was untouched and full. I twisted the childproof lock off and plucked one of the small yellow and red capsules and placed it on the back of my mouth and washed it down with some water from the tap. I didn't even care right now about the side effects of this pill, like I normally would. I cared about easing this emptiness, as I felt in my heart. I opened the fridge and got out the pitcher full of Minute Maid pink lemonade and 4 whole kiwis, slicing them in half. I slowly slid open our drawers and picked up and grabbed a spoon. I placed the plate down on our island along with the pink lemonade. I pulled out the bar stool and sat down to eat Charlie's comfort meal. He eats this exact meal when he's sad, disappointed, anxious, scared, or having trouble coping with life. This felt to me the perfect opportunity to eat this. It made me feel close to him even though I felt distance between us. More than 1,000 miles. I sat there eating the kiwis while my mouth ached and bled because I was allergic to most fruits. But I didn't care. This was the only thing I could do to feel mentally close to Charlie. I wish this would all of a sudden give me superpowers to be able to go inside Charlie's head, but I knew that would never happen. It was late now, and I've come to the realization that Charlie wasn't going to move off the couch. So I walked into the living room, not even bothering to turn on the lamp for some dim light. I looked at Charlie's, and he looked at me, still not saying a word, with a hurt look cemented on his face. I softly said, "You weren't planning on coming to bed, were you?" He turned his head, avoiding eye contact. I could tell my words hurt him just as much as they hurt me. I leaned over top of him and scooped up his body in my arms, carrying him bridal style, his head now resting on my chest. As I walked to our bedroom, silent tears fell from eyes. This was worse than any other cry, worse than when I'm screaming, crying my eyes out, worse than when I'm in the worst kind of pain and screaming. This was the worst pain. Chapter 84, A Little Spark. Charlie's Perspective. It was 3 a.m. and I was still awake. I haven't had a restless night in months since I was prescribed sleeping pills. It wasn't that I didn't feel tired. I felt painfully tired. The feeling when you're on a road trip sitting in the middle seat between 2 of your siblings and they both don't want you touching them, so you have to force yourself to stay awake so you don't accidentally fall asleep on one of their shoulders. I can't explain what happened exactly, but my hand felt like There was a gravitational pull dragging my hand over Shanique's heart. I craved his touch and attention. I know I still wasn't ready to open up mentally, and I didn't want to give in this soon. I still needed a little bit of space, but the heart wants what it wants, I guess. I let my hand drift across our silk sheets. My hand slides so effortlessly over his, but stops right before I could fuel this strong craving I had. Did I really want to tease him like that? I don't want to send him the wrong message. I still need space. Right as I was still there overthinking everything, I felt my hand grab his. I needed him. I always need him. Shivers went down my spine as I felt his warm hand in mine. I know this may sound absolutely dramatic, but I mean, what do you expect? Me and Nick are absolutely that. It's only been a few hours, maybe 10 hours since we kissed and held hands, but to us that feels like forever. We're always together, and very clinging couple, especially Nick. So I know this must be hard for him, trying my best not to cause him pain, but I need time. I missed his electric touch, his passionate kisses. It still and will always send butterflies to my stomach and goosebumps down my whole body. I wish this would just be over. I am now realizing why I couldn't fall asleep. It's Nick's comforting touch that soothes my mind, his loving heart that cures my sadness. I'll never love anyone like I love Nick. Nick's perspective. It was the crack of dawn, and I felt this burning heat in my left hand. I wiggled my fingers a bit and felt Charlie's hand holding mine. This made me want to grab Charlie and pull him on top of me and wrap my arms around him so he was tightly in my arms, so he felt safe, loved, and appreciated. I wanted to feel his touch, his soft lips, his heartbeat. I wanted my morning cuddles. This was improvement, though. I had to take it as a win. He still needs time, and I'm going to be waiting right here for when he's ready. I feel a lot better this morning, more open-minded. My head has been clear of the storm that was clouding my perception of this situation. It was the pill that really did it. It really did help in stressful situations. I'm happy now that Charlie pushed me to go to that appointment. I was definitely being stubborn about it, but Charlie never gave up on me. He supported me like he always did. Yesterday, I thought of an idea to maybe help ease his pain a little, inflict some joy on him. I know he acts and puts on a tough shell, saying he hates his birthday, but he doesn't like celebrating birthdays because it's just an ordinary day, but I know that's because his mom and other relatives forced him to eat tons of sweets and stuff he didn't want. I know deep down inside, Charlie is hoping to have a good birthday. I know he was excited for his birthday, he just didn't want to be let down. He just never had a good experience with his birthday, which is so heartbreaking for a child, causing his resentment towards the celebration. He should be celebrating it more than anyone. He deserves it more than anyone else. He had to fight to stay alive. He hasn't had an easy road. I want to create a new birthday that will be just for us. He has his real birthday on April 27th, but my idea was to make him a new and improved birthday on a random day, probably soon. It wouldn't entail any bad memories and won't require him to participate in any normal birthdays activities Charlie despises. A day where I spoil him rotten like he deserves. Everybody else gets to enjoy their birthday. Why shouldn't he? Although I have a lot of faith in my birthday idea, I'm not totally sure Charlie won't completely hate it. I'll just have to try and see, won't I? Charlie's perspective. It was early morning, and I was starting to toss and turn, meaning I wasn't tired anymore and should get up and start the day soon. Nick's hand was still in mine. Nick was awake. He was just laying there, deep in thought. I could tell he always had the same thinking face. It was proper adorable. He cuddled me every morning, and it felt odd not waking up and immediately rolling over to him and laying my head on his chest. I released my hand from his and rolled out of bed, shattering my heart a little more with every step as I got further from the man I loved. Why couldn't I be ready yet? Why did I have to cause so much pain to myself and him? Was keeping to myself really helping everything or making it worse? Fuck, I just want this to be over. Alright everyone, that is the end of today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed. We will be dealing with some more mental health stuff in the next episode, so do be careful of that. But anyway, also be on the lookout for I Still Think You're Beautiful, which will be coming out later on today. So just make sure that you are prepared for that too. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Goodbye, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in between, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, friends.